Let's talk about one of the most powerful tools that you can use to make your images look more cinematic, as well as control both where your audience looks and how they feel. This is called depth of field. You've probably heard the term, maybe you've even messed around with it, but let's really break it down so that you can actually control it and make it a creative choice rather than something that just kind of ends up happening. So first, what is depth of field, or DOF? Simply put, it's the area in your shot that's in focus. This area is called the focal plane. Anything in front of or behind the focal plane starts to blur out. If the focal plane is really small and only a little area is in focus, we call that a shallow depth of field. A large focal plane where a lot in the foreground, midground, and background is in focus creates a deep depth of field. There's a few things that control depth of field, but I only want to talk about two of them right now. First is aperture. Aperture is the size of the opening in the lens. If the aperture is wide open, like at a f1.8, then the focal plane gets pretty small and the depth of field is shallower, meaning only a small portion of the image is in focus. Close down the aperture to something like f16 and the focal plane gets a lot bigger and the depth of field gets deeper, or there's more in focus. Next is how far the camera is from the subject. The closer the camera is, the smaller the focal plane and the shallower the depth of field. Move farther away and the focal plane gets bigger and more is going to be in focus. So why does this even matter for your films? Our eyes are naturally drawn to whatever's in focus, so a shallow depth of field lets you isolate the subject and draw attention to it, as it minimizes or even hides the background. This helps direct the viewer's attention, show emotion, or highlight an important element. Deep depth of field offers more information to the viewer. The audience can explore what's happening in the background as more of the image is in focus. So next time you're shooting, don't just set your aperture to get the right exposure or choose a shot size at random. You should also ask yourself, what do I want the audience to focus on and how do I want them to feel? Then use depth of field, adjusting the aperture and the distance to make it happen. That's the difference between just shooting videos and telling a story. All right, grab your camera, go experiment, and I'm super stoked to see how you use depth of field to level up your filmmaking.